Donald and Ivana Trump were New York's self-made royal couple, the glittering duo everyone admired. Yet beneath the glitz, trouble was brewing, and their marriage eventually came crashing down like an avalanche. It all began like a fairy tale, though. Donald met Ivana, née Ivana Zelničková, in 1976. She was living in Montreal, working as a model and ski instructor after immigrating from Czechoslovakia.
Fantastic years. I was born and raised in Czechoslovakia. I went through training as a skier through the sports.
She ended up in New York City for a modeling gig, and during a dinner with other models, Donald swooped in. He secured the group the best table in the place and joined them. Smooth move, right?
And I turned to my girlfriend and said, I have a good news and bad news. What is the good news? You're going to get a table real fast. What is the bad news? This fellow behind me is going to go and sit with us.
Ivana wrote in her memoir, Raising Trump. We made polite small talk. No funny stuff at all. He sensed correctly that flirting would not work with me and acted like a gentleman. Imagine that, Donald Trump, a perfect gentleman. Who would have thought?
I think it's fantastic.
Ivana wasn't looking for love. She was casually seeing someone in Montreal. But Donald had other plans. He sent her 100 roses, took her out to fancy dinners, and called her every other day for 3 months. Persistence paid off. By Christmas, Donald asked her to go on vacation. They went to Aspen and had the most romantic time together. On New Year's Eve, Donald told her, "If you don't marry me, you'll ruin your life." Now that's the Trump we know. And despite having known each other for only a few months, Ivana agreed to marry him.
Donald always had a great head on his shoulder, and I saw the potential in it.
They tied the knot on April 9th, 1977 in New York City, and during their honeymoon in Mexico, Ivana became pregnant with their first child. On December 31, 1977, their son Donald Jr. was born. The couple went on to welcome 2 more children, Ivanka in 1981 and Eric in 1984. A picture-perfect marriage, right? But wait.
He did not know how to speak to them in the children way of thinking. So he was able to speak to them only when they came from university, when eventually he was able to speak business with them.
Yeah.
You know, but otherwise he really did not know how to handle the kids.
Donald and Ivana weren't just partners in marriage, but also in business. Donald appointed Ivana as the Vice President of Interior Design at his recently acquired Commodore Hotel, which was being converted into the Grand Hyatt Hotel.
We get along very well, and there's not a lot of disagreement because ultimately Ivana does exactly as I tell her to do.
Ivana continued to help Donald build his real estate empire, assisting with the construction of Trump Tower and the Trump Taj Mahal Casino in Atlantic City.
And I was chief executive officer, and casino really did very well. It was the most profitable hotel casino in the United States.
She later became president of the Plaza Hotel. However, their seemingly perfect marriage hit the rocks in 1989 when Ivana discovered Donald's affair with model Marla Maples.
Did you see warning signs?
I really didn't. I really didn't.
It all happened during the family's annual holiday trip to Aspen. Ivana ran into Maples outside a restaurant, with patrons and the rest of the family watching. Ivana wrote, "This young blonde woman approached me out of the blue and said, 'I'm Marla, and I love your husband. Do you?' I said, 'Get lost. I love my husband.' It was unladylike, but I was in shock."
We were actually standing near the restaurant, getting ready to put skis on. And I was standing there like an idiot. And Marla and Ivana were here. And there wasn't shouting, but you could obviously see there was some friction.
Turns out this affair had been going on for years. Donald met Marla Maples at a 1985 celebrity tennis match while he was still married to Ivana. At first, they were just friends, but eventually a romance blossomed, and they kept it under wraps.
I just think the first moment I met him, I had a sense like I'd known him before. I think it was much deeper than just whatever you might feel. We had a sense of like, if you believe in past lives or you don't, it was as if we did know each other.
By the summer of 1989, the couple started getting bold, and Marla was often spotted wherever Donald was. She even moved onto his yacht, the Trump Princess. Imagine that, a secret affair on a yacht named Trump Princess. You can't make this stuff up. A former architect for the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino, Alan Lapidus, revealed in the series Biography: The Trump Dynasty that he acted as Donald's beard when he was dating Marla in Atlantic City, still married to Ivana. The only time we had any personal stuff was when he was going out with Marla Maples. He was still married to Ivana, and I was, as they say, the beard, Alan said. Wow, that's unbelievable.
I think it's ridiculous.
On one occasion, Trump sent a limo for Lapidus and Marla. I picked her up and we went out to dinner, Lapidus recalled. And after dinner, they played a game of limo swap so Marla could meet up with Trump. We went out to the limo, drove a couple blocks, another limo pulled up, and she got out. And there was Donald in the other car, Lapidus said. Sounds like something out of a spy movie.
We're just enjoying each other's company when we can.
The series suggests that Trump gave Ivana a promotion to get her out of Atlantic City. She had been in charge of Trump Castle, but was moved to the Plaza Hotel in New York in May 1988.
If you're in business for yourself, I really think it's a bad idea to put your wife working for you. I think it's a really bad idea. I think that was the single greatest cause of what happened to my marriage with Ivana.
Jack O'Donnell, who was the president of Trump Plaza Casino at the time, mentioned that it wasn't a very well-kept secret in Atlantic City. Let's face it, when the room service guy goes up to deliver dinner for the two, and Donald Trump is one of the people, the secret doesn't last long. The audacity of Donald Trump to think he could keep things under the radar while practically throwing a parade for his affair. Marla knew Trump was married, but she later admitted she never considered herself a mistress during that time. She said, "Do I wish more than anything that we could have had this relationship after the divorce papers were signed? Absolutely, with all my heart. But it didn't happen that way. Everything had to happen in the way that it did to bring us to where we are now." Sure enough, the truth eventually surfaced, and things came to a head in Aspen in 1989. And Marla's version of their confrontation has some key differences from Ivana's take. She couldn't pronounce my name, but she was asking me if I was Mula or whatever. And she just asked if I was the one who had been loving her husband for years. I didn't want to scream, Maples told Vanity Fair. According to the onlookers, Ivana reportedly yelled, "I have a happy marriage. I'm very happy. Stay away from him. Stay away from us." Less than a year later, Maples reflected, "It was obvious Ivana wasn't happy," and noted that during her relationship with Donald, she constantly told him, "Stay and make it work. Don't give up the marriage. You've got your kids." Poor Ivana.
Do you think unless the two had actually come face to face, you would have confronted that situation?
Well, it's interesting because it's possible that, maybe it would still be going on. I'm not sure.
The affair made headlines, and in March 1990, Ivana officially filed for divorce, resigning from the Trump Organization a few months later.
In my case, it was just so clear, and the trust was broken so badly that I knew that it was just no way it could be patched.
But despite their explosive split, Ivana said they eventually settled into roles as companionable co-parents.
It does take time, and it took me about 2 years to even think about another man. So if I see another man in my life, I die.
They remained friendly over the years, and Ivana attended Donald's presidential inauguration in 2017. Former White House aide Omarosa Manigault Newman even told people that Donald constantly sought Ivana's advice while in office.
He wouldn't be who he is without you.
That's for sure.
Now, let's get back to Marla. The media extensively covered the divorce and Donald and Maples' relationship, and she spent 2 months hiding from photographers, but couldn't escape the headlines. Maples was infamously quoted on the cover of the New York Post as having said, "Best sex I ever had," about her relationship with Donald, which she later denied ever saying.
The Donald was the best sex you'd ever had. Hey, he's not the only one who lies to the press.
Maples and Donald continued to date on and off, and in 1993, she became pregnant with their first child. Their daughter Tiffany was born on October 13, which Maples later called the greatest unplanned surprise of all. Despite Donald previously saying he had no plans to get married again, the couple decided to tie the knot shortly after Tiffany's birth.
And we really anticipated getting married and having a baby, not having a baby and getting married.
So why didn't you marry her right away when you found out she was pregnant? Why did you wait?
Indecision.
Donald and Maples married on December 20, 1993, in an extravagant ceremony at the Plaza Hotel. Although Maples wanted a small wedding, the event was attended by 1,000 guests, including Howard Stern, Rosie O'Donnell, and O.J. Simpson. She wore a Carolina Herrera gown and a Harry Winston tiara worth $2 million. Because, you know, nothing says I do like a tiara that costs more than most people's houses. The pair remained married for 3 years before separating in May 1997. Maples later explained the split, saying that they differed on how they viewed the world and how they wanted to raise their child.
So I think you always hope in a marriage that you can bring out the best in each other. But after many years, we realized we weren't.
Marla also noted that she was never entirely comfortable with the life of luxury and felt that she was playing a role because it was what the job called for. Oh, sure. Years after their divorce, a juicy tidbit from Donald and Marla Maples' prenup was leaked. Turns out, Marla walked away with just $1 million, plus another $1 million to buy a house. Definitely not the fortune some might think.
And I think $1 million is a lot of money.
No, you don't.
No, I don't, actually.
In fact, Marla later auctioned off her engagement ring and other items to make ends meet, saying, "I laugh when people think I walked away with a fortune." Talk about a not-so-happy ending.
You know, the truth is there's a lot of misconceptions about I walked away a multimillionaire.
But it's not all bad blood. Despite their rocky past, Donald and Marla managed to mend fences. In a 2013 Oprah interview, Marla revealed, "I still love Donald. I love Eric, Ivanka, and Donnie so much." They even managed to share an Easter celebration in April 2023. Who knew divorce could come with a side of friendly get-togethers?
He's the father of my child. I do not want to ever speak negative about it. But do we agree on everything? Absolutely not. We would be married if we still agreed on everything.
But Ivana, who passed away in 2022, clearly wasn't ready to forgive and forget.
I don't want to talk about her. She's a showgirl, never achieved anything in her life.
In her 2017 memoir, Raising Trump, she didn't hold back, saying, "She actively participated in humiliating me in the media and indirectly put my kids at risk for months. I went through hell, and then I was expected to be okay with her being around my children?" Ivana's words reflected the deep hurt and betrayal she felt, a pain that her friends believe she never fully overcame. Well, who could blame Ivana?
He's free at the moment, isn't he? He's single.
Yes, he is.
Would you not like to get back together with him?
Nope.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, you would like to get back?
Nope.
So, what's your take on this whole love triangle drama? Who do you think is to blame for the mess? Share your thoughts below. Let's chat about it.